Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Just doing a real quick video. Hey guys, this video is about just how to talk to a seller, right? A lot of our investors, new investors that come in this real estate market, whether you're a real estate agent or you're a wholesaler or a flipper, if you do a lot of creative financing, whatever it is in your business, in your niche, I want to share a few things of my experience with you guys about how to talk to a seller. Hey, number one, why should you listen to me? Hey, my name is James Carlock. I've been investing a few years now, close to 10 years, and I have done a lot of fix and flips, creative financing, and also wholesaling is my first love. So this is why I believe I can share out a few of my experiences on how I talk to a seller and how I close dozen deals by using this type of strategy, okay? So listen, that's why. But look, right after this, let's get it right into it. Stuff like that. Three. As a matter of fact, happy 4th. That, but okay, I'm gonna keep the windows, but all the wood, and I just keep you guys. Okay, guys. So, the first thing I really want to talk about is really what a lot of investors, I believe, mess up when they're new investors and they're going to talk to a seller. They're a little kind of afraid, kind of scared first time talking to someone about a property, and also about getting them comfortable to talk with you. And I call this, just building relationships, creating relationships, right? And I think a lot of times that these new investors or you or whoever, or even seasonal investors sometimes have problems talking to sellers. And I thought it was just new investors, but hey, I got a partner. His name is Tom. We did a few flips together. He's a great guy, man. I love him much, man. But he is not a people person, right? He's not the person that like to go out and talk to different homeowners. So believe it or not, it's a lot of investors that are like that. It's a lot of investors just like to stay in their own circle, and they just talking to sellers is not their thing. Right? And so they buy from like wholesalers, or they buy from other type of wholesaler companies to get their deals. So I totally get that understanding, man. So everybody's not like that. I am. I love people. I love to talk to people. I love to talk. I love conversation. So and I like to get to know different people. And building relationships is my A1. And I think that's why I do so well in my business. But hey, you got to understand, if you that type of person, you have to get comfortable with talking to people. Because guys, real estate, it's a people business. It's a relationship business. It's a people business. Hey guys, listen, I know you are watching the video, but listen, I want you to do something before you continue to watch this video, okay? Hey guys, what should they do?
Like and subscribe!
Like and what?
Subscribe!
You heard it all. Relationship business, okay? And what I mean by that is you have to understand and be comfortable with building relationships, okay? So real quick, create relationships. So when you first call a seller and you think about it, wow, you guys get on the phone, and particular seller say, hey, you want to buy my house? And you say, yes, I love to buy your house. And the seller say, okay, great, how much you offer me? Well, you should quickly try to steer that, not try, but quickly stir that conversation around. And I say, hey, great, listen, I love to make you an offer, but I would like to learn a little bit more about the property, right? And this, when you tell a seller or a prospect or whatever, I would like to get to know a little bit more about the property. Then you're giving them to open up about the property, right? You also giving a window to ask, certain questions as they open up about the property, as they tell you about the new roof that they replaced, the new light fixtures, the new bathroom, the new floors they put in, the new systems that just got done. They got new windows. Listen, guys, I'm telling you, sellers, if they ready to sell you, they'll sell you. Some of them I be wanting to give sales jobs to because they more they great in sales. This is a beautiful house. It's in around a great neighborhood, and this is a great street, and the schools. And when they get to selling like that, this is what I always ask them. Man, all those things sound great, but if it's so great, why are you looking to sell that house that you say they got everything that you desire you like, right? And every time I hit them with that, then they tell me stuff. I've heard it all. We moving because we like to get a bigger house, or we like to downsize, or we want to, we need to move out the state, or this is my family house, I'm tired of it, or it's just too much for me, or I stay somewhere else and I pay mortgage here, or I mean, so many excuses, or my grandma passed, or it's ton of things that they are now open to tell you. So that opens up the book, guys. That opens up the book for you to say, okay, great. Now I pretty much know the reason why you gotta let this beautiful house go that you say they got all these beautiful things. So I just want to know, like, tell me a little bit more about that situation, and some sellers are headstrong, and they are good into getting you back to, hey, well, you want to buy my house or what, stuff like that. What you have to do is find a way to break that ice, okay? So this is what I usually do on the phone, even when I speak about what I just spoke earlier when I said, great, tell me more about the house. But before I usually say that, guys, I try to find a way to build up a conversation to break the ice to make the seller laugh, right? So if the seller tells me, hey, these tenants getting on my nerves, man, you too? Right? Hey, this payments are too much for me. I'm paying payments here and I'm paying payments there. Man, I remember when my mom or my dad or my friend or my sister or anybody else try to get their conversation, try to tie their conversation, their reasoning with an experience you have had, and then make some, I want to say make a joke out of it, but make it kind of funny. So I'm gonna give you a good example, right? So let's just talk about, let's say if they say, hey, this was just too much for me. Too much for you? You listen, let me tell you, I got a friend, man, he found out he was paying 2 payments, and he found out, man, if he was going to be paying these many payments on 2 places, he could have had a brand new car, right? This is crazy how, then you want to find someone to blame it on. So what you do is you blame it on the bank, because people love for you to blame something else on someone else. So help them out. So I helped them out. Man, these banks are crazy, right? They give you a loan over here, then they expect you to pay this stuff, and then you got taxes over here, and then who is this Uncle Sam, right? And you start kind of getting them to open up and let them say, yeah, right, who is this Uncle Sam? And they start laughing and giggling, and before you know it, guys, you guys are at a conversation to where you become friends to a certain extent. And what I mean by that, you become, this person kind of laughs, and then now you got the door open, you got the heart open if it's that type of person. And if it's that type of person, then you go on and continue to carry that conversation on, and talk to them about certain things to get them laughing and get them on. And the most thing you could do, guys, the most important thing to do, that I've learned this years ago, is that learn to have an open ear, meaning don't talk so much. Let them do all the talking. Just ask questions. And if you got a question that you need to ask somehow, some way, while they're talking, constantly write the question down. They can't see you write the question down while you're on the phone with them. Write it down. And when you write it down, guys, right then and there, this is the question you're going to ask that seller after that seller get done talking, right? So I always write my questions down or usually if I have my tablet, which I do most of the time when I go on appointments, most of the time I would listen to the seller as well at the table or wherever we at in the living room. I would listen to them, and as they are talking and explaining things to me, I am writing down the focus points, the points that the pain points, the reason why they have to sell, or the situation, or the problem, or whatever the factor is. I am writing it down because these are the questions that I have to ask so I can find a win-win situation for this particular problem, okay? Because guys, if they're calling you from your ad or if they're calling you from some type of marketing that you put out, it's because they need to sell a house. Don't want to hear the stuff that, hey, I'm just testing the market to see what I got. It's some people out there like that, guys, but usually 90% of the time, they really need to sell a house. And you just got to find a way to get in friends with them or get close to them so you can be that person that they trust to buy their house, okay? And I've did it several times, and I've did it many times. I've closed many deals throughout the years, thousands of deals. And this is how I close them, guys, by building relationships. Sometimes I build a relationship with people, guys, and they will call me 2 or 3 months after the deal. It'd be like, hey, James, how's it going, man? What you do with the house? You know, just calling, checking up on you. And it's like, wow, like, or, you know, I had one guy that I still talk to sometimes, and this is one of the guys that I did, like, I think it was like my 5th deal. This was years ago. And his name was Bob. I still talk to him here and there. You know, I actually think one time I seen Bob out somewhere. He was like, hey, James, what's going on? And we had a good conversation. So that just tells you how important it is to build relationships with sellers, okay? That's it, man. Just... Oh, shoot. Hey, are you guys still watching? If you are, don't forget, man. Hit the subscribe for me. Hit the bell. It will give you notifications every time I upload a video. So that's the way you can help me out. Support the channel. I'm new to this. All right. It's building relationships. That's it. Number 2, guys. All right. This is the more, if you're a new investor, this is the more difficult one, but you got to have an ear. So we talked a little bit about opening your ears, right? But this is very important. This is more of finding out what kind of problem they have, you know, so you can solve the problem. So this goes in the back into if they tell you, well, I have to sell because it's just too much work around the house, or I can't afford the property again. And what you want to do, guys, you want to continue to ask open-ended questions on that particular topic that they're talking about. So if they're talking about, I just can't do it, it's just too much for me, I'm behind on my payments, or whatever the factor is, or it's just too much, I have to move in with my aunt, my uncle, my cousin, or my brother, whatever the factor is, you need to make sure as you're talking to them, when you write that question down, you need to continue to say to them, tell me more. And why do you think that? And, you know, and what do you think we need to do different? Or I used to tell sellers like this, how soon are you looking to move? And then when you move, where you're going? Do you know where you're going when you move? Do you know what your plans to do with the money? You know, and it's a lot of different things that I've asked sellers, because a lot of times I ask them, most of the times, if they don't have any equity in the house, then a lot of times I tell them, hey, are you willing to sell for what you owe on the property? And then we get into more and more of creative financing techniques. But I usually have to figure out this problem so I can solve it. If I don't know the problem, I cannot solve the problem. And if you don't know the problem, you cannot solve the problem. So this is the same thing. This is why it's crucial for your new investors to know that, right? And that's why it's very important. Find out the problem so you can solve the problem, okay? Now, and that's exactly what it is, guys. It's nothing in that. So I'm gonna give you one good example, a little bit deeper on solving the problem, right? So you ask the questions you need to ask to get you to lead you up to solving that problem. So open and ending questions help you to solve that problem that you need to solve for the seller. And that's just simple as that. So if you're asking them why, when, where, who, tell me more, these type of things keep them talking. And if they're talking, then you can then find a way to solve their problem to basically solve the problem. I mean, simple as that. Guys, we're in the business of problem solving. Problem solving. I mean, we're in the business of solving problems. And a lot of times in real estate, a lot of ways we solve those problems off by buying our house. This is how I'm going to solve your problem by buying your house, or direct you to another way or so that'll help you out as well. So that's pretty much it with that too. So okay, guys. So now we come down to the itty gritty about problem solving, right? So the next thing is just basically, guys, solving the problem to create a win-win situation for both parties. That means for you and for the seller. So creating a win for you or for the seller might be, hey, this is a win for the seller. Hey, how much cash do you need now to move or to do whatever you need to do? If some odd reason, guys, they don't have enough equity in the property, maybe you can make an agreement to get them enough cash to move out. Okay, to get them somewhere for a down payment on to move into a house, or a down payment on another house, or whatever the fact is. These are things that you guys can do to kind of make it a win-win situation. This if they don't have no equity. Guys, if they got equity, then you can make them an offer that can still put money in their pocket, and still a win-win situation for both parties. Meaning that you still get the house at the price you need to renovate it, wholesale it, or do whatever you have to do on it to make a deal for you. And the seller can also get the cash to leave to do what the seller needs to do to move on with their life. You move on with doing what you have to do with the property, and also the seller move on with doing what they have to do. Okay, and those are just two win-win situation things. And sometimes, guys, win-win situation don't always be you buying a house. You might find a way to help them to stay in the house, and then they might, say, hey, well, I do have a friend that needs to sell a house right now, and then they recommend that person to you, and you still win. So it's not always doing it. It's just mostly out here serving people, guys. It's a service, right? You got to have a service or a product on this world to create wealth. And we here at Carlock LLC, we provide a service, and our service is buying houses from sellers or people that needs homeowners that need assistance right away. We are their problem solvers. We come with cash. We come with certain ways to create their problem. So then they take care of what they need to take care of, and then the house come to us, and we do what we need to do with the house, and we make a profit for our business. Guys, this is my livelihood, and if you're in real estate and you're in real estate full time, it's your livelihood too. Okay? And then the last one, guys, I always tell my students that I train on our team is always be closing. And basically number four is close the deal. Number four is just close the deal. Simple as that. Always be closing. And what I mean by that is, guys, once you figure out, you build a relationship, you find the problem, you solve the problem, then you close the deal. And what I mean by that is basically just saying, hey, great, so I know exactly what you need from me, and you know exactly what I need from you. So, hey, when could we close? We make a deal, then it's time to close. So whether that becomes to negotiation, or whether that becomes to like you making an offer and then they don't like the offer, but then they want to encounter another offer, and then you guys go back and forward until you guys figure out what that offer is. But nevertheless, guys, you're still closing. So every time you talk to the seller from now on, from the times that you have built this relationship, every time you get on the phone with them, if it's a follow-up call, you always be closing. Hey, John, what's going on, man? We talked last month. Hey, just checking on you, see if you got that property sold. Oh, well, James, I haven't got it sold yet. Hey, man, great. Sounds good. I'm still buying properties. Are you still selling? Yes, great. Look, let me run some numbers real quick. Let me get back with you and see if we can do better than what we did last time. You might know that you're not going to be able to do any better, but they don't know that, right? So what you want to do is you want to constantly say, okay, great, hang up the phone, give them an hour or two, you relax, you do what you do, talk to other sellers, do what you do in your business, give them a call back three or 4 months ago. Not 3 or 4 months. But you get back, you call them 3 or 4 hours, and you say, hey, great, John, listen, I think we can do a little bit more on there. And a little bit more, guys, you can offer them $1,000, $500. It doesn't matter. A little bit more on there. They say, great, sounds good. Hey, I just want to stop by the house to make sure everything looks the same. And if everything's the same, I like to make an offer. But usually, guys, before I stop by the house, because usually I have already seen the house, then I usually just make the offer. Say, hey, man, if I told them $50,000 on my offer, I'm probably going to tell them, I don't know, 55, somewhere around there, just $500 more than what, or $1,000 more. So if you want to do $1,000, you say, hey, I'm at 51, man. I can do 51. I squeezed it out somehow. When could we close? Would you like to close I always tell people, would you like to close on a Friday or a Monday? It's up to you. And what time would you like to close? And when's the best email? What's the best email for me to send you over one-page paperwork? Get it filled out for me to get back to me, man. Let's get this deal done. That's my close every time. And my students know they close, guys. So anyway, thanks again for checking out the video. If you like what I said to you and a few things on how to talk to a seller, then, hey, subscribe, leave a comment, hit that bell so you can know whenever I'm notified, whenever I'm figuring out more videos. And so, man, we can rock together and build a major empire in real estate. Thanks a lot, guys. See you next time.